Hello, and welcome to this educational platform of Ghatana Chakra Book video. Our aim is to deliver knowledge to you in a simple, clear, and accessible manner. Let us begin this journey of learning and success.
Something huge is happening with India's population. It's a massive turning point, and the whole story is kind of hidden in the latest official data from 2023. We're going to break it all down because these aren't just numbers. They tell us about a fundamental shift for over 1 billion people.
Okay, take a good look at this number, 1.9. It might not seem like a big deal, but this single figure holds the key to India's entire future. Seriously, it represents a massive change that's been decades in the making.
So, what is this 1.9 all about? It's India's total fertility rate. And here's the headline. For the first time in its history, the national average has dropped below the crucial replacement level of 2.1. In simple terms, this means the country is no longer having enough children to replace its population. This is a monumental moment.
So, how did we even get here? Well, here's the plan. First, we'll look at this turning point itself. Then we'll unpack the two big stories, fertility and mortality. After that, we're going to dig into the divides behind these national averages, and finally, take a peek at what the future might hold.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1, India's population turning point. How did this happen?
So, let's start with the first half of the equation. Section 2, the story of fertility. We're talking fewer births, which is a whole new reality for India.
I mean, the trend here is just so clear and consistent. You can see it right there. Over the last decade, the crude birth rate has fallen from 21.4 all the way down to 18.4. That's a drop of about 14% in just 10 years. This isn't some statistical blip, this is the new normal.
And that brings us right back to our key number, 1.9. This visual makes it crystal clear. For the very first time, India's average total fertility rate is officially below that crucial 2.1 replacement level. The era of rapid population growth that defined India for so long, yeah, that's over.
Okay, now for the other side of this story. Section 3, the story of mortality. And this part is about more lives being saved.
Let's start with this number, 25. This is the infant mortality rate for 2023. It means that for every 1,000 babies born, 25 don't make it to their first birthday. Now, believe it or not, that number actually represents huge progress over the last few years. But we also have to face this really stark reality. Progress doesn't mean the problem is solved. A rate of 25 still means that 1 out of every 40 children in the country dies before they turn 1. It's just a sobering reminder of how much work is still left to do.
But the progress itself is really impressive. The national rate dropped 7 points in just 5 years. But the real story is where it's happening. The decline is actually sharpest in rural areas, where the need has always been the greatest. And here's another really positive sign. The mortality rate for girls under 5 is declining even faster than it is for boys.
All right, Section 4. This is where things get really interesting. We're calling it a tale of two Indias because we need to talk about the huge divides hiding behind that national average.
Let's start with the most basic divide, rural versus urban. And wow, it's really like you're looking at two completely different countries. Rural India is sitting right at that 2.1 replacement level. But urban India, its TFR is 1.5. That's on par with many countries in Europe. And just look at infant mortality. A baby born in a rural area is significantly more likely to die in their first year. The gap is huge.
And if you thought that was a big gap, these divides become even more extreme when you look state by state. The differences are just staggering. A woman in Bihar, on average, has more than twice as many kids as a woman in Delhi. An infant in Kerala is over 7 times more likely to survive their first year than an infant in Chhattisgarh or Uttar Pradesh. So the main takeaway here is that different parts of India are at completely different stages of this demographic transition.
Okay, last section. Section 5, what the future holds. Let's try to put these pieces together and see what kind of picture is emerging. Let's start with a really significant piece of good news. The sex ratio at birth, that's the number of female births for every 1,000 male births, has actually improved. It's a small jump, but it's an important one. It suggests a positive, though slow, shift in societal attitudes.
Now here's another incredible success story. Almost 95% of all births in India now happen with medical attention.
That is a massive public health achievement, and it's a huge reason why infant and maternal mortality rates have dropped so much. But now, keep that number in your head, and let's contrast it with this next slide.
Whoa, look at this. While nearly everyone gets medical help at the beginning of life, a shocking 60% of people receive zero medical attention before they die. This just reveals a major new challenge for the healthcare system. As the population gets older, the focus has to shift from just ensuring safe births to providing care throughout a person's entire life, especially at the end. So, the data confirms it. India has entered a brand new demographic era. The challenge isn't a booming population anymore, it's an aging one. And this leaves us with the defining question for India's future. With fewer children being born and people living longer, how must the country's economic and social priorities shift to adapt?